So today we're going to be doing a review on my BMW M140i.
It's lit. Just take a look at the drip. You boys don't get fired in this. Roll a dope, yeah, I'm high as a bitch. Wait, it's lit. Gave that little bitch a little tip. Now she wanna suck on the dick. She wanna catch all of the drip. Pull up and I'm loading the clip. New bitch, yeah, stay on my head.
So standard, these cars have 335 brake horsepower, but you can remap these B58 engines to go to 420 brake horsepower just from a stage 1 remap. It's the most brake horsepower gained from a stage 1 remap from any car that I'm aware of. Normally a stage 1 only gives you about an extra 30 to 40 brake horsepower, but not in this absolute weapon. There are a lot of good things about the B58 engine, but there are some bad things that not many people talk about. Some of the bad things that I've experienced is coolant loss. Lots of the B58 engines have that. Sometimes you have no idea where the coolant goes. In my case, no one can seem to tell me where this coolant is going, but I do have to fill it up generally every month. There is no leaks underneath the car. Obviously, because you don't have a dipstick, I can't see if it's gone in the actual oil. So let's hope it hasn't. I haven't had a warning to say that my oil is overfilled, so that's obviously good. But then also that leads on to the next problem with the B58s. They do lose oil as well. These engines are kind of known to burn oil. Again, no one really seems to know why. They just do burn oil for whatever reason, but that generally is a BMW thing. Every BMW that you look at buying just burns oil, gets rid of it somehow, some way. Going back to the coolant issues, some of the main issues are the coolant cap. The coolant can seep its way out through the coolant cap where it comes loose. In my case, I have changed the coolant cap and it hasn't made a slight bit of difference. Obviously, another issue with the 140i is handling. Generally, these cars from standard don't handle very well in the slightest. They're quite boaty, if you like. The rear end is just all over the place because it has an open differential, which if you don't know, it means the wheels spin at different paces, meaning it's harder to control a drift or a slide, which in these cars does happen quite a lot of the time because it's quite a lot of horsepower going solely to the rear wheels. But that is what makes this car so much fun, in my opinion. That's what makes this probably one of the best hatches and arguably the best hot hatch you can buy at this current point in time. Hot hatches are going boring now. They're all going 4-cylinder, 2-litre engines, which is really boring. This is the last of its breed, the 2019 plate M140i, 3-litre, straight 6, rear-wheel drive, hot hatch. You can't get any better, in my opinion. One thing about my car specifically that I do not like, which I'm going to show you right now, is the interior. The interior in my car is the business nav, and obviously that is basically the poorer option. And everyone in the M140i group says if you get the business nav, you couldn't actually afford the real thing. But what's weird about this car is it has the Harman Kardon speakers, it has the heated seats, it's the Shadow Edition. Basically, it looks like the only thing the guy that bought this car from new didn't buy was the ProNav, which has caused me many issues because it means the ProNav that I have, I can't get Apple CarPlay coded in because it doesn't have a Wi-Fi port or something along those lines. So if I want Apple CarPlay in this car, I need to buy a new Android screen, which is like £400, or you can buy one off AliExpress for like £200, but I don't know how good that would be. Probably might break in the first week. As you can see, I have added some modifications like the spoiler, the whatever they're called, the side skirts, and of course we have the front splitter around here. In my opinion, that just makes the car look 10 times better because as standard, these cars are a little bit boring and they are a bit businessman-like. And obviously, I'm not like that. I'm a bit of a chav. I do like to have a Larry car. A Honda Civic, for me, is the icon of car styling. The bigger spoilers, everything like that, just makes it look, oh! Because of the engine these cars have, they do sound very, very nice, even from standard, even if you do not have an exhaust on it. Many people do put exhausts on them. Some people put Remuses on, Miltecs on, you know, all the standard ones, Cobras, all the standard ones that people put on any car. And if you do that, you can make this car sound like an absolute monster. But even standard, this car sounds crazy. Here's some clips of that. I suppose the question is, should you really buy one? I've owned this car for 2 years. I've had no problems with it, touch wood. It's fast, it's fun, it's rear-wheel drive, it's a laugh. How does it compare to all the other hot hatches on the market? You've got the A45, which is a 4-cylinder, 2-litre. It's just a bit naff. It does everything you want it to do. There's no real fun or excitement with that, in my opinion. Buy one of those if you can't drive, because you just point the steering wheel and it goes where you want it to go. The Audi RS3, in my opinion, is probably the closest you get to the fun level as what you have in the M140. The RS3 is also 4-wheel drive, but it does have that 5-cylinder engine, so it does sound a little bit better than the dodgy 4-cylinder crap that you get in all the other cars. Speed-wise and value for money, I don't think there's a better hot hatch on the market. You can pick these up now for like 15 grand. One remap takes them up to a brand new Audi A45S brake horsepower. Standard, they have 415, with a stage 1 remap on an M140, 420. Yes, the A45 is going to get you off the line every single time because it just has that pure grip, but that does get boring after a while. Do you know what doesn't get boring? A little bit of slippy slidey from the old rear wheels and that open diff. Of course, you do have to be careful. This is why so many of these get binned, because young people just remap them, get the speed that they want because they are so cheap, and then they end up just crashing into fucking trees. Another issue that I have just thought of currently is icy, and the 3 doors have pillarless windows. And to get in a car with pillarless windows in the ice and in the freezing cold is a bit difficult, because that window does not come down, and you do have to be careful not to smash the window when you're opening the door. On newer cars like the Audi and I believe the Mercedes, you can start the car from your phone, which means that you can then defrost the car without you being in it. You can get this coded to do that, but I believe it costs about £1,000 to do it. So obviously that's not ideal, but you are saving a hell of a lot more money in comparison to the other hot hatches on the market. Fuel consumption, I spend about £60 a week on fuel. I drive approximately about 200 miles a week-ish. So obviously that's not brilliant, but you don't buy one of these cars to have fuel economy. You buy one of these cars to just fucking smile every day, to just put your foot down and have a good time. Just by filming this video, I've used 1/4 of a tank in fuel, and I've only been recording for about 30 minutes. When you do put it in that sport mode, you can use quite a bit of fuel. Yes, I fully would recommend one of these cars. Like I said, in my opinion, probably the best hot hatch. I've owned this car for 2 years. It does not get boring. And even if you are bored of the power, which eventually everyone does get bored of the same power figures, these engines are so easy to modify. These cars generally are so easy to modify. You can literally get 500 brake horsepower out of these cars, a downpipe and a tune, and you're living life. You also need a high pressure fuel. You also need a high pressure fuel pump, but they're about a couple £100. Let me know what you think about the M140i in the comment section, and we'll see you in the fucking next one.